Welcome to the Wisdom Tribe. If you are listening to this right now, it is not by coincidence. It is by divine appointment. You have been drawn here by the Spirit of God Himself because this message carries something that belongs to you. You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven has already stamped you as chosen, set apart, and destined for greatness. This is not just another message. This is an urgent decree. God has declared a state of emergency in your life. Something is shifting, something is breaking, and something is about to be reborn in you. Let's walk through this step by step. 7 heartfelt chapters that will open your eyes and awaken your spirit. Before we go any further, if your spirit is resonating with this urgent word, type 7 in the comments right now. That number is not random. It represents a spiritual emergency call, a signal that heaven has already dispatched angels to intervene in your situation. When you type it, you are declaring in faith that you are aware, awakened, and ready for God's immediate move in your life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Tribe. And make sure you watch this message all the way to the end, because the breakthrough you've been praying for is about to be revealed in ways you never imagined. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Heaven has interrupted your timeline. Chosen one, hear me clearly. There comes a time when God Himself must declare a state of emergency over your life. Why? Because your steps, your decisions, or even your silence were slowly leading you away from the destiny He designed before you were even formed in your mother's womb. And because you are chosen, heaven cannot allow you to keep walking a path that was never meant for you. Think about this. When an ambulance rushes to a scene, traffic stops. Everything pauses, not because the drivers are being punished, but because something urgent must be handled. That's exactly what God is doing in your life right now. He has sounded the sirens in the spirit, and everything around you is being disrupted. What looked stable is suddenly shaking, what felt secure is collapsing, and what you thought was yours is slipping away. To the natural eye, it looks like chaos, but in the spirit, it is divine order being restored. Chosen one, this is not punishment, it is protection. God is saying, I will not let you be bound by what is beneath you. I will not allow you to settle for less than what I wrote in your destiny scroll. I must interrupt you before you destroy yourself with things that were never meant for you. This is why you've been feeling unusual delays. This is why relationships you depended on have broken apart. This is why opportunities that looked like blessings have suddenly shut down. You thought you were being rejected, but you were being redirected. You thought doors were closing because you weren't good enough, but heaven was closing them because they weren't meant for you. Do you realize that if God allowed every yes you prayed for, you would have been trapped in places too small for the greatness inside you? That job you didn't get, that friendship that ended, that relationship that fell apart, those were all divine interventions. You couldn't see it at the time, but heaven had to interrupt your timeline before you were tied to something that could not carry your future. Chosen one, what you're experiencing is not a collapse, it's a course correction. The shaking is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to shift you. God is pressing pause on your plans, not to leave you stranded, but to reset the foundation of your destiny. He is removing the clutter so that when His appointed blessings arrive, there will be space to receive them. That's why your spirit feels restless, why your heart feels unsettled, why you sense something urgent is happening even if you can't explain it. Heaven has accelerated the process. What would have taken you years to figure out on your own, God is now handling in days and weeks. This is an emergency operation of grace. So don't panic when things fall apart. Don't despair when you lose what you thought you needed. Don't misinterpret the shaking as abandonment. This is heaven's hand. God is saying, I will not let my chosen one be lost. I will intervene even if I must break everything around them to build them again in my image. Chosen one, trust this divine interruption. You are not being punished. You are being protected. You are not being delayed. You are being redirected. Heaven has interrupted your timeline, not to hurt you, but to save you. Chapter 2. The crisis is actually the call. Chosen one, you've been looking at your life and asking questions that feel heavy in your spirit. Why does everything seem to fall apart just when I thought I had it together? Why now, God? Why me? And the Spirit of the Lord is answering you today. What you are calling a crisis, heaven is calling a summons. What you see as disruption is actually divine interruption. This is not the collapse of your story. It is the trumpet blast of your destiny. Every shaking, every closed door, every unexpected loss is a sound in the Spirit. It is heaven declaring, awake, my chosen one. Arise, my beloved, there is more in you, and I will not let you settle for less. Think back to Jonah. He ran from his assignment, but God allowed the storm and the great fish, not to kill him, but to call him back into alignment. To Jonah, it looked like the darkest crisis of his life. To heaven, it was a rerouting, and you, chosen one, are in the same place. What looks like loss is really your divine rerouting. What feels like disaster is actually the doorway to your destiny. Understand this. If God allowed your life to stay comfortable, you would never step into the fullness of what He created you to be. Comfort keeps you stagnant. Crisis pushes you into calling. It was the famine that pushed Joseph into Pharaoh's palace. It was the fire that revealed the fourth man walking with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It was the Red Sea that showed Israel the power of a delivering God. And now, it is your crisis that will uncover your true assignment. Chosen one, do not despise the breaking. Do not curse the shaking. A seed can only release life after it is cracked open. That breaking you feel, the friendships lost, the doors shut, the jobs taken, the plans overturned, it's not because God is against you. It's because He's breaking the shell of the old you to reveal the new creation He has already stamped in heaven. Without the breaking, the greatness inside of you would remain hidden. And hear me, your struggles are not random. The enemy would love you to believe that you are being attacked because you are weak. But in reality, you are being attacked because you are chosen. Every rejection, every betrayal, every tear-stained night, they were not wasted. They were signals. They were God's way of saying, you cannot stay here. You cannot keep living beneath the level I created you for. I am calling you higher. Think about Gideon. He saw himself as the weakest, the least, the one unfit for greatness. But it was in the middle of crisis, when his people were under attack, that the angel of the Lord declared, "Mighty warrior, the Lord is with you." Chosen one, in the middle of your battle, heaven is speaking over you. Mighty warrior, arise. The Lord is with you. The shaking is your call, not your defeat. This is why everything feels urgent. This is why the pressure is so heavy. God is declaring a state of emergency over your destiny. Not because you are in danger of being destroyed, but because heaven refuses to let you miss what you were created for. So shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why me?" begin to ask, "Lord, what are you birthing through this?" Instead of saying, "This is the end," begin to declare, "And this is the beginning." Because in heaven's eyes, what you call a crisis is actually the inaugural announcement of your next chapter. Chosen one, believe this. Your current shaking is not here to bury you, it is here to birth you. Your breakdown is not the final word, it is the labor pains of your breakthrough. What you thought was destruction is actually the construction of your destiny. Chapter 3. Your pain is heaven's alarm system. Chosen one, you have been conditioned to believe that pain is your enemy, that it comes only to break you, weaken you, or punish you. But in the kingdom of God, pain is not the end, it is a messenger. It is an alarm system from heaven. Every sleepless night, every rejection you endured, every betrayal that cut your heart like a knife, none of it was wasted. Each tear was heaven sounding the siren. Wake up, chosen one. You cannot stay where you are. You see, comfort has a way of keeping us stuck. It whispers, "This is good enough. Stay here. Don't risk more. Don't expect more." And if you had stayed in the place of comfort, you would have missed the magnitude of who God called you to be. Pain then became the only tool strong enough to push you out of what was too small for you. Think of the eagle and its young. When it is time for the eaglets to fly, the mother eagle stirs the nest, removing the soft feathers and exposing the thorns beneath. Why? Because if the nest stayed soft, the eaglets would never spread their wings. Chosen one, your pain has been God stirring your nest. The betrayal, the loss, the rejection, it was heaven removing the feathers, exposing the thorns, making it too uncomfortable for you to remain in places that no longer align with your destiny. Do you remember Joseph? Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused and thrown into prison. Every layer of his pain was an alarm pulling him closer to the palace. Without the betrayal, Joseph would never have stood before Pharaoh. Without the prison, he would never have been in position to interpret the dream that saved nations. In the same way, the pain you've endured was never random, it was strategic. Heaven has been positioning you through what felt like punishment but was actually preparation. And let's not forget David. Before he was crowned king, he was hunted, betrayed, and forced to hide in caves. Pain trained his hands for battle and his heart for worship. Without those nights of distress, David would not have known how to lean on God the way he did. Your tears have done the same for you. They've trained you to pray deeper, to trust harder, to listen more closely to the voice of God. Chosen one, your pain is not proof that God abandoned you. It is proof that heaven is invested in your story. It's the alarm clock shaking you awake, saying, "Get up. Your season has shifted. Your assignment is calling. Your destiny cannot wait any longer." Even the rejection you faced from people who couldn't see your worth was heaven's alarm. God heard conversations you didn't. He saw intentions you couldn't. He allowed the heartbreak not because you weren't lovable, but because you are too valuable to be mishandled by those who are blind to your calling. Pain became the siren pulling you out of toxic circles, out of counterfeit connections, out of environments that could not carry the weight of your anointing. Understand this: greatness is never born in ease. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Oil only flows when the olive is crushed. gold is refined in fire, and so it is with you. Every ounce of pain you endured was the fire refining you, the crushing producing your oil, the pressure birthing the diamond of your destiny. So shift how you see your scars. They are not just reminders of where you were hurt. They are signals, proof that heaven refused to let you remain small, proof that God loved you too much to let you die in comfort, proof that pain was never the end of you. It was always the alarm calling you into the beginning of something greater. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Your pain was never a punishment. It was an announcement. Heaven sounded the alarm because your time has come. Chapter 4. The enemy wanted to strike first. Chosen one, you need to understand something vital. When God declared a state of emergency in your life, it wasn't only because blessings were on the horizon. It was also because warfare had already been declared against you. The enemy saw the shift in the spirit before you even felt it in the natural. He knew something powerful was aligning for you, and he tried to strike first. That's why some of the hardest battles came to you at the most unexpected times. That's why storms appeared out of nowhere. That's why people turned against you for no reason. Hell was trying to preemptively stop what heaven was preparing to release. The enemy knows he cannot destroy what God has ordained, but he tries to weaken it before it matures. He comes early, hoping to silence your voice before you find your confidence. He comes to plant fear before you walk into courage. He comes to bury your dreams before they have the chance to bloom. This is why you've faced attacks that felt bigger than you, because the enemy wasn't fighting where you were, he was fighting where you were headed. Look back and you'll see the pattern. Why did the enemy come for you when you were young? Why did you face rejection, trauma, or betrayal before you even had a chance to stand firm? It's because he saw what you carried. Just like Pharaoh tried to kill Moses before he could grow into a deliverer. And just like Herod tried to kill Jesus before he could step into his ministry, the enemy tried to destroy you in seed form. But heaven stepped in. Those attacks you survived weren't accidents. They were proof that your life is too valuable to be wasted. Chapter 5. Rapid restoration is activated. Chosen one. When God declares a state of emergency in your life, heaven doesn't just intervene to block the enemy. It activates restoration at a speed the human mind can barely grasp. Restoration under normal circumstances can take years. But when heaven sounds the alarm, what was lost, broken, and delayed begins to return in accelerated form. This isn't slow rebuilding, it's rapid recovery. Think of it like this. While the enemy thought he was setting you back by years, God was secretly setting you up for a supernatural leap forward. The very areas where you cried the hardest are the areas where you will laugh the loudest. The very spaces where you felt empty are the ones God is about to overflow. When heaven moves in emergency mode, the pace shifts. You are no longer operating in earthly time, but in kingdom time. Look at Job's story. In a single season, he lost everything: his children, his wealth, his health, and even the respect of his community. But when God intervened, the restoration wasn't gradual, it was sudden and multiplied. Job received double for all his trouble, and this is your portion too, chosen one. The years of labor, tears, betrayal, and disappointment are being compressed into a divine season of compensation. What took others decades to achieve will fall into your hands in moments because God is redeeming the years for you. Do not be surprised when phone calls you thought would never come suddenly arrive. Do not be shocked when doors you assumed were closed forever swing open on their own. Do not question it when people who once rejected you now seek you out. This is rapid restoration in motion. God is not just returning what you lost. He is multiplying it, improving it, and positioning it to serve your destiny. Chosen one, understand this. Restoration is not just about getting things back. It is about God realigning you with the purpose and destiny He ordained before you were even born. Some of the losses you endured were divine subtractions, things that were never meant to stay. But what is returning now will fit, will last, and will elevate you. Heaven is replacing counterfeits with the authentic, replacing delays with acceleration, replacing barrenness with abundance. And here is the prophetic truth. Your restoration will not be private. The same people who watched you suffer will watch you rise. The same ones who mocked your downfall will witness your elevation. Some will not be able to explain it. Others will not understand it, but they will all have to acknowledge. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Every tear you cried became a seed, and now the harvest is rushing in. Every prayer you prayed was a deposit, and now the return is coming quickly. Every no you received was making room for God's greater yes. And now that yes is manifesting with unstoppable force. So do not grow weary, chosen one. Your restoration has already been activated. It is running toward you with divine speed. Expect sudden turnarounds. Expect doors that open overnight. Expect opportunities that arrive without warning. Expect abundance in areas you thought were permanently barren. This is not ordinary restoration. It is rapid, relentless, and undeniable. Heaven has declared an emergency, and that emergency has triggered your acceleration. What you thought you lost forever is coming back. Not the same, but better, bigger, and blessed. Chosen one, prepare yourself because you are about to testify. It happened so fast. I know only God could have done this. Chapter 6. Your faith is the key to survival. Chosen one, in this season of divine emergency, your faith is not optional. It is your lifeline. Everything around you may look unstable, uncertain, or even impossible. The storm is loud, the winds are fierce, and the enemy is pressing in with fear and confusion. But hear this truth. Survival in this season will not depend on your resources, your connections, or even your own strength. It will depend on your ability to cling to faith when everything in the natural tells you to give up. Fear will try to suffocate you. Doubt will whisper that it's too late. Circumstances will scream that you are finished. But you must remember, your faith is not anchored in what you see, but in who you know. Faith is the bridge between the promise and the fulfillment. Faith is the substance that keeps you standing when everything around you is shaking. When Peter walked on water, it wasn't the waves that mattered, it was his focus. The waves were always there, the wind was always strong, but as long as his eyes were locked on Jesus, he was walking in the impossible. Chosen one, your storm is real. The bills are real, the pain is real, the betrayal is real, but they are not stronger than your God. The same voice that said, "Come," to Peter is calling you to rise above the storm. And yes, Peter began to sink when he allowed fear to overtake his focus. But even then, the story didn't end there. The hand of Jesus reached out immediately and lifted him up. That same hand is reaching for you right now. Even if your faith feels small, even if your steps have been shaky, even if you've stumbled along the way, God's grace is greater than your weakness. Your survival does not depend on perfect faith, but on persistent faith. Chosen one, this is not the time to entertain the lies of the enemy. This is not the time to agree with fear. You cannot afford to repeat words of defeat over yourself. In this emergency season, your mouth must align with heaven. Speak life. Declare the promises of God. Remind yourself daily that you are the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. Faith is not silent. It speaks, it moves, it acts even when nothing looks possible. Remember the children of Israel at the Red Sea. Behind them was Pharaoh's army, in front of them was an impossible ocean, and panic filled the camp. But Moses told them, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Faith opened the sea, faith closed it on their enemies, and faith carried them into their next chapter. Chosen one, that same faith is your key to crossing into your promised land. Do not underestimate the warfare of the mind in this season. The enemy will not always attack your body or your finances first. He will attack your faith. He will flood your mind with worst-case scenarios, feed your imagination with fear, and tempt you to surrender to despair. But this is why you must guard your faith like treasure. Feed it daily with prayer, with the word, with worship, with declarations of victory. Surround yourself with voices that build you up, not voices that tear you down. Chosen one, faith is more than survival. It is the key to elevation. The greater your faith, the higher you will rise. While others drown in fear, you will walk on the very waters that tried to consume you. While others fold under pressure, you will thrive in the storm because you are anchored in the rock that cannot be moved. So keep your eyes on God. Do not measure your life by the size of the storm. Measure it by the size of your God. Do not let temporary circumstances make you forget eternal promises. You are not sinking, you are being lifted. The same hand that caught Peter before he went under is the same hand holding you right now. Chosen one, if you can keep your faith alive in this emergency season, not only will you survive, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and positioned for a glory that will shock even your enemies. Faith is your weapon. Faith is your shield. Faith is your key. Chapter 7. The shift into your new season. Finally, chosen one, hear this truth with your spirit. The state of emergency in your life is not permanent. It is a divine bridge. It is the transition point between who you were and who you are becoming. It is the spiritual ambulance rushing to carry you from the place of affliction into the place of assignment. God never allows an emergency without a purpose. What you have been walking through was designed to push you out of the wilderness and into the promised land prepared for you before the foundations of the earth. You are stepping out of confusion and into clarity, out of survival and into stability, out of delay and into divine acceleration, out of lack and into overflow. The shaking you felt was heaven's alarm clock, and now the sound is changing. It's shifting into a trumpet of victory. Chosen one, the emergency was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to realign you, to awaken you, to position you for the greater destiny that could not afford to be delayed another day. This new season you are entering will not look like the old one. Doors that were once shut will now swing wide open. Relationships that drained you will fall away, and divine connections that elevate you will appear. The resources you thought you lacked will begin to flow, because where God sends you, His provision always follows. You will notice a new level of strength within you, a boldness you didn't have before, and a peace that cannot be explained by circumstances. That is the evidence of heaven's shift. When people look at you, they will no longer see just the struggle, the pain, or the scars of your past. Instead, they will see the survival, the strength, and the supernatural hand of God all over your life. Your testimony will not be ordinary. It will be undeniable proof that God steps into emergencies and turns them into platforms for His glory. The very people who thought you were finished will watch in awe as God elevates you in front of their eyes. Chosen one, you must understand. The season you are entering is not just for your benefit. It is for the kingdom. Your story is about to become a weapon. Your survival is about to become someone else's hope. And your breakthrough is about to become the blueprint for those who are still stuck in their own wilderness. God is raising you up as a living example that He is still a deliverer, still a healer, still a restorer, still a waymaker. That is why the emergency was necessary. The destiny on your life is too valuable to be wasted. The calling on your soul is too urgent to be delayed. Heaven could not allow you to settle in mediocrity when greatness was written in your DNA. So yes, God shook the foundations around you. Yes, He disrupted your comfort zone. Yes, He closed doors that you thought would always be open. But it was all to push you into alignment with His perfect will. And now the shift has begun. You are standing at the threshold of your new season. Every tear you cried has been counted. Every prayer you whispered in the midnight hour has been heard. Every silent battle you fought in secret has been acknowledged. Heaven is rushing to your rescue, not just to deliver you, but to display you as proof of God's faithfulness. Chosen one, stay faithful, stay awake, stay ready. The shift is not coming, it is here. The wilderness is behind you, the promised land is before you, and your story is about to take a turn so radical that only heaven will be able to explain it. The shaking was not the end. It was the beginning. You are about to walk into a season where divine favor will go before you, where blessings will chase you down, and where destiny will manifest in ways you could have never orchestrated on your own. The state of emergency was God's final push to get you into position. Now the heavens are opening, the earth is responding, and your life is about to shift forever.